see that this is now red, but that means, yeah, something's wrong there. It's trying to get your attention. And that's because I renamed it to force direction up, and I didn't rename it down here. And we'll just do force direction left. Public vector 3 force direction left. All right, awesome. And so then basically we're going to do force direction. You can see it shows up here, my nice little complete, autocomplete, force direction left. And we'll just keep momentum the same. You know, if going up is times by 5, then left. But you can, obviously, you can see you can change that. So now we got to figure out what this force direction left is. So right now we're just applying force in the Z. And let's see here. Let me just move the ball a little bit so I know which direction we're going to go. Oh, I got to add the numbers over here. Sphere, come back to me. Right here. Force direction up, 10, momentum 5. Okay, so... Okay, actually, I'm going to hit pause before he falls off. Pause! There we go. So, you see this red arrow? That is the X direction. And the left, we're going to want to go in the negative area. So, let's go ahead and do force direction. We're going to go to the X, and let's just do a negative 10. And let's see if... Is that all? Is it going to work? Wow, this is my all work. Let's find out. So let's make sure we didn't break the up. I'm just going to hit the up once. There it goes. Yeah. And I'm going to hit the left arrow key now. No. Oh, why did it switch to 0? Maybe I didn't. My little thing over here switched to 0. Let me do negative 10 again. Let's see if it switches to 0. Okay, now we should be all right. Up and left. Yay! Up, left, up, left, up, left, up, left. Fantastic. So I'm going to do what I told you not to do, which is copy and paste, but I feel very good about it. But as beginners, I would not do it. Key code left arrow, right arrow. And essentially, the nice thing is we're just going to do the same thing. We need another public for the right direction, and then that'll be the only direction we have. We don't need to go back right now.
And the right is just going to be in the positive X direction.
Yep. So it's as simple as that. So I think this is all set. So basically, in our update function, this is the entire update function. We have 3 if statements: if it's up, if it's left, if it's right. And we've got our adding force in there. And it should show up here. Let's do force direction right. And X is a positive 10, all being times by momentum of 5. So now I have 3 of the keys working. Up, right, oh. Ah, see, this is a bug. I hit the right key and it goes left.
Check your code.
Let's see. Ah! I forgot to change it there.
That is why copying and pasting.
That is exactly why, people, copying and pasting is not a best practice.
Exactly.
But that's what we call a bug. Actually, one of the kids this morning asked me, like, what is a bug? It's like when things don't happen the way you expect them to. So I'm going to hit the play button. And now we should up, right, left. Yeah, There we go. And he goes falling away. So, and you know, we could always make the scene a little bit more interesting. We could grab a cube, you know, as Haley was kind of demonstrating, to kind of make an obstacle course. You know, let me just add 3 more cubes, and then he should kind of like bump around into these things.
And notice over in the inspector, the cubes already have a box collider on them.
Yes, right there. Oh, the boxes, yes. Yep, the box collider already comes with them. So now our box should, since these are all kind of physics, they should like bump into each other. There we go. Oh. And I don't have that back. Oh, I don't have that back arrow. Oh, that back. Yeah, I don't have the back arrow. So I can hit that. I can come over here.
And without the collider, they would just go straight through.
Yeah, so as soon as I take off those colliders, then they're no longer in the physics engine. And so now the ball is just going to like roll right through them, which for some things might be interesting, but for most parts, you're probably not going to want to do that. So that's why the box colliders defaulted on and so on and so forth. So, well, I think we did it.
Yeah, I think we did.
I mean, let's see how many lines of code. We have 37 lines of code. Congratulations to anyone who has not seen code before. Yes. We just wrote 37. And you can see basically, you know, we created some containers up here. We wrote an if statement. Yep. And gave it some parameters saying do this if this is true. We use this line of code here to access a component, to add force. We learned about vector 3, so we could tell the computer at which direction to apply the force. We learned the difference between floats and integers. And we used actually a float up here called momentum to basically make that force stronger or weaker. And we all did that in a matter of 20 minutes.
Yep.
You know, and so this is where it's kind of fun, because now it's like you can come in here, you can design this like really fun, pretty level, and you know, you can even apply a force, you know, in the up Y direction. Jump. Yeah, so you can say if I hit the space bar to add force to make it look like it's jumping, that's kind of where all this stuff goes to. So, so I think we did it. Let's switch back to, we'll leave that open because you may have questions about it later. Let me switch back to our keynote. Is it possible to make a person walking instead of a ball rolling in this?
Oh.
Yes, actually, which is incredibly complicated. But one of the wonderful things about Unity, there's something called the standard assets. And actually, Unity has already built you a character, you know, hands, and made him move and animate. That literally you can almost like just drag into the scene and start using him right away. And then you can tweak him from there. But building a character from the ground up, whole nother ball game.
Yes.
As you are more familiar with.
So many components go into making just a single character. You have to first model it and design it. Then the biggest component is doing a rigid body. You actually have to make a rig for it, which is actually boning out your character so that it moves properly and weighting it properly. And then you have to add the animations in yourself. So there's a lot of different components that go into making a character walk.
Yes, but the nice thing is Unity has a lot of prefabs on there, which a prefab basically something that someone else has made that you can use, make it really easy, do testing. But there is actually training on Unity's website on creating characters. But it's not something we could ever cover in a 20-minute thing. No. So, but it is definitely possible for sure. All right. Well, let's just kind of quickly go over resources, and then we'll just end with our nice little Q&A. How's that sound? All right. So we're gonna just kind of swap up here, so you can see both of us. So, all right. Unity3D.com, everything that we just did, Unity3D.com. Go download it. It's free, fabulous resources.
Start making what we just did.
You can make apps, I mean, it's primarily game engine, but yes, it's fantastic. And you can't beat the price of free.
Yes.
Right? The next resource, which we talked about at the beginning of this cast, was hourofcode.com. This is for students, for teachers, for people who want to know how to get coding into classrooms.
Yes.
It's a fantastic resource. Check it out. And if you're able to do an hour of code session this week, because it's Computer Science Week, fantastic, wonderful resource, free coding stuff there as well.
Yes. For all ages, too. I think that's the biggest part of that.
Yes.
Is that it starts from young ages and all the way up.
Yes.
So.
Pluralsight is one of my favorite websites. It is a very professional website where you can learn any language, C#, Python, coding, digital design. They have a free trial. It's not free, but we've been using it to train ourselves on how to do this stuff. And it's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful resource. Pluralsight.com is fantastic. Check it out. Another wonderful free resource is Code Academy. If you don't know about Code Academy, it's been in a lot of news lately. It's a wonderful introduction to JavaScript, Ruby. What else do they have on there? They just added Git, which is a new. We use Git all the time, but it's a great way to like start programming. If you want one resource to just from tonight to go and try something, go to codeacademy.com.
It's the first resource you had me start using,
Yep.
About a year ago.
Yep.
And I loved it from the beginning, and I was very skeptical to begin with, because like I said, I wasn't into computers or anything like that.
Yeah.
And the second I started in with Code Academy, I actually enjoyed what I was doing.
It's fun.
Like, it was very fun to see things come to life just by the code that you're writing. So it was amazing. That was my first touch and dabble into coding, and I loved it.
Yes. Check it out. Very, very awesome. And then Silicon Prairie on LinkedIn. So if you work in technology in the Cheyenne, Wyoming area, or if you're interested in working in technology, we have a brand new LinkedIn group called Silicon Prairie. You can go to linkedin.com, search Silicon Prairie. You'll see that same kind of logo over there onto the left. Join us. the first part of creating a culture of technology and coding. We've got to get everyone here who's interested in it, get them together, and get everyone talking.
Get the word out. That's how it's going to happen, is if we all act.
Yes, so that's a great first step, Silicon Prairie on LinkedIn. And if you want to reach us, or we have a question after this, you can email us at c3@apixel.com, and we'll do our best to answer questions and that kind of stuff. So to kind of sum up, what can you do when you can program and can code? Well, as you saw tonight, you can program video games.
Yes.
I mean, if you have any kids out there, I'm sure you all play video games, you love video games. I would say 60 to 70% of that entire video game is all behind the scenes in programming, like you just saw. So you can use programming and coding to make video games. You can use coding and programming to build beautiful software. You can use programming to design websites and web apps. So you could be the next Mark Zuckerberg and design the next Facebook or Google. It's all programming there. You can program robots.
What kid doesn't want to build a robot, right?
Oh my God. So this is actually an image from a kit called Arduino. And Arduino is a beginner's guide. Like you can see, there's a board here. You can buy these sensors and connect them, but then you can also use Python to program this robot AI and have this thing move around. And Arduino also has a lot of resources online for getting started. And Amazon, I think, even has wonderful little kid packages and adult packages that come with everything you need to get started with Arduino and building robots and sensors and all kinds of fun stuff.
Great way to have kids having fun, but also learning along the way.
Totally, absolutely. You can also program science, right? So this is another example of that Arduino, but as in a weather station. So you can build your own weather station. You can have, what's that wind thing? I don't know if those are going to be strong enough for Wyoming.
Oh, God.
But, you could build an app that takes in the wind data of your house. I mean, the options are just completely endless. Yep. So programming is the future. It's not going anywhere. And we are just really excited to be a part of it and hope that tonight's been a wonderful introduction or kind of, stirred the pot and got you thinking a little bit differently.
That no matter what you're really passionate about, guarantee in some way, in some form, you could probably use code.
Yes. All right. Well, it's Q&A time. So we're going to switch back out of here and go to our... Oh, are we already there? Oh, I think we forgot to switch to the keynote.
Oh, did we?
Yeah. That's okay. There was just a lot of pretty... I do want to show the images, though. Look, program video games, program beautiful software, design websites and apps. Oh, that makes me sad. I totally forgot to switch that. Yeah. There's the robot. Look at that Arduino robot. Yeah. They were just staring at our faces.
Oh,
and
man.
Even looking. Weather station. But yeah, so now we're at the Q&A. So
we've got some stuff over here.
Okay, so let's look at the questions, and we've got about maybe 5 minutes for Q&A.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's see here. Okay. First question is this a commercial? UPS, no, this is not a commercial. We are promoting programming and coding in the Cheyenne, Wyoming local region area. So hopefully that answers your question. Next. What more game engines do you recommend? Okay, recommend for Python. Are they free or do you not know? So real quick on game engines, the other big ones is Unreal, the Unreal Engine. Some of them, I don't think any of them allow free trials. There's a lot of royalties with video games. Yeah. The nice thing about Unity is their software is free to dink around and play around. And then if you decide to publish your game, you got to get some pro licenses and stuff like that. I am not 100% sure if the other engines are free to start like Unity is. And I said Python is not generally a language used in video games. I'm sure it's in there somewhere, or that I know of.
Yeah.
It's more of like an app type thing, but you can make games in Python. All right, if you have any programming experience, moving into C# is really easy, and I highly recommend Unity.
Yes.
Extremely powerful and free. You can get a Python interpreter for it, but that's an unnecessary layer. Cascades, you're absolutely right. I think C# is a great language. It's a great language to learn. There's so many cool statements, and we only did one. We only did if. There's while loops.
For each loop.
For each loops. 4 loops. I mean, it's like this whole beautiful
then there's these
world.
I-enumerator things.
Oh, I-enumerators and quaternions. Like, oh my gosh. I mean, when you get into this stuff, like, that's just like poetry to your ears.
The sad thing is, he's always talked like this, and I've never been able to understand him before. I just not and be like, sure, okay. And now within this last year, sadly enough, I can be like, oh.